Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Utsuki. This probably will be the last video about the series how to make a launcher on Godot. I will be very honest with you. This probably, if not the most useless, is at least the least accomplishing project I ever did. Even though I already made some launchers and clients, even though this is not a client, just a launcher. This was really just too frustrating, you know. I will explain what happened, but let me do what I want to do first. So, first of all, here in the files, I created a folder, as you can see, with the version of the file. Why I think this is a good idea? When you are, for example, developing and you are ready to ship a new version, for example, things might happen, such as for a short period of time, you might want to roll back to the old version. And in this architecture, the only thing I need would be just to delete a tuple from the database. But so instead of overwrite every single game file, I would just keep the folder separated, and as well I'm totally able to reincorporate something that from the old version, or even using it for another thing. So here I have these files. I have this yay text that is literally just yay. This banner .ogv dot this extension is the one that Godot handle videos. To be honest, I really dislike to keep the same quality of an MP4. It had the thrice as large, like a video of 30 megabytes become 91 in OGV in the higher quality, but at least on the lower quality it's very light, so probably this is the reason. I created this folder, the game one, that would hold all of our game files, and I just created two folders with each one with one scene and one script. Each scene is just a button, and each script is just one method switching to the other scene. Right? This is just to show you that you are able to use this file that is coming from the API. All right. So now let's go to the database. So here in database, I used two fake accounts to test the things. All right. So I created this QQQQ in TTTTT. As you can see, our password is encrypted using SHI. And here in the versions, I changed the files that I would send. As you can see, we have the yay, we have the scene 1, scene 2, script 1, script 2, and also the video. Now here in the API, a lot of things changed. So first of all, I added these headers. The first one is access control out orange. This one is very remarkable for the infamous error CORS or CORS. This basically let us to manage which IP Orange is able to access and consume our application. Actually, this is very useful. Many of you have, for example, an API that is private and you do not want that the people have any the possibility to try to access. This is an example of usage. I think I added the content type application JSON, and also I basically added every single HTTP method in the allow. So the only one that I never used is the connect, to be honest. The other, like the options, that is the one that lists the other methods available. The head one, that is, I think it's automatically used by web browsers, the trace, and the other one, but I never used the connect, so I have no clue what it does. Now here in the TriCat, I changed something. So as you can see from here, if you're a bit lost, I added this message equals to get message. Why is this? Because sometimes my message was in a way that a JSON would be able to decode, and sometimes don't, like just a phrase, just the message. And this is a bad practice. That's why I just actually made it into an array. And I also, when I need to return from an exception, because exception we can only call using strings, I use the code JSON to analyze that I will actually need to decode. So where I need to throw an exception using a JSON object, I encode to string, and then here I decode to JSON again. All right. So here is where I spent a lot of time today. Just for context, I spent 13 hours straight just coding, trying to figure out how to make this, the best way to transfer a file from API to Godot, and my conclusion is the worst possible. Actually, I already knew this, but I was trying to push the limits, and I end up being very frustrated. I think the thing that changed most is that validation. Now I'm just passing an array of the current file. So now I'm just handle one file at a time. All right. I worked into two PHP applications and two React ones that was basically front end consuming the one of the PHP projects I was working on, and every single one of them used handle actually files, and probably HTTP API is the worst way to handle files. All right, we need to encode it. That actually takes more space in the character mode. Most part of the applications and APIs have it is on limit. The like the default from PHP, I think, all right, I don't remember exactly. I think is 2 powered by 17 megabytes. I'm not sure. And Godot is 2 powered by 16, so it's the 65,000 megabytes. That actually didn't work. I'll explain soon. So, and in that company that I was working on, we had a partner. Actually, we started a partnership, and they just allowed files under 2 megabytes. So every single thing would need to be JPEG type of file, and I had to solve this problem. I even tried to use the compression from PHP, but I wasn't able to progress to continue using it because we had short time, and I actually was able to just advise the users to not use it, and also blocking use the system. Yeah, like API is one of the worst way to transfer files. On Godot, I tried to use the HTTP client. All right, that was the one that was promising more control over the request, and maybe a little bit more of freedom, and maybe helping me to get it. So I really spent a lot of time, and it just like got my time wasted. Like there is some configurations. I had the feeling that there is some configurations on the HTTP client that just does not work. And I think that the need to use while loops uh, with it like a bit dangerous. Like even though for and for eaches are loops that could lead to infinity, they are not like that much often and that dangerous such as while. Like I really don't like to use while mainly in an application that have a central command. I really dislike how it worked. I really dislike how the things didn't work as well. So I just gave up the HTTP client. You are gonna see that there is some remainings of my battle against it, but I really just gave up, and I even simplified this function as well. All right, just because of it. Like we have possibilities. You could use FTP, but Godot actually did not handle FTP exactly. We could make connections like dedicated servers using TCP or UDP connections. Actually, I think UDP is not connection, but like things to transfer data between the server and the player and the user. Actually, there is a chance this would be very slow, but I am pretty sure I have way more confidence into this working properly than the HTTP client. All right. So here in the post login sign up and login as well, I had a few changes. When I was editing the video, I noticed like from time to time my errors, and I tried to warn. And I also explained that I was making this in the TXT file editor, so the chance that I miss something such as a parenthesis, semicolon, colon, was real, and actually this happened as well. I also forgot that PHP mostly use camel case, so the bad bind parent was actually in the snake case, but not. I'm sorry. And in here, in the center of the method in the of the login sign up, I created a variable called errors that use that call a function that I create to validate a little bit of the string. All right. On PHP, we have a possibility to validate the fields way easier and actually more correctly than this one. But I was just trying to make something simple. I was tired. I am tired. And I just tried to make something that I'm sure that I knew how to do. All right. Even though the validation as well is pretty simple, but I would certainly need to check more than once the documentation and Stack Overflow as well. Right. So this check string is basically I pass the string, I pass the smallest number of characters, the highest number of characters. If I want to check if it must have at least one number, one special character, one lowercase letter, one uppercase letter, using regular expression, alright? And here I check if errors is array, because yes, the same reason that I can use empty to check empty quotes, zero and nulls, an empty array sometimes can be treated as boolean. So I'm assuring that errors is an array, and I check if the errors is greater than 0. If it is, I throw that exception, encoding the errors and passing the code JSON. All right. In the hash as well, I used a hyphen to separate SHA from the 256. In some place it is like this, but on PHP not. I just forgot. And I actually forgot to use the hash password function as well. But okay. And as I said, I fixed the bind parents. Here in the post login, I use the same thing to validate the password using the same signature of the function. And here is the validation function. It's just like a bunch of ifs, and that will be appending error message to this variable up here, and then I return the errors. All right. So this is what I made here in the API. All right. Now let's go to the Godot. So I don't know why on Godot my voice always is strange, but I don't figure out what's happened. What is happening? All right. So on here, I decided that since and the script that I moved to the other folders, I improved the that first is in, alright? And my battle was in the script. But beforehand, I would like to show you the interface. I kinda got inspired by the Riot Games launcher that you wanted to pick. I think League of Legends, maybe Legends of Runeterra, or maybe it's failed. I don't know. Valorant, I think, and TFT. So it's Riot Games, like League of Legends developers. I not am totally able to replicate every single thing, but I kind of got inspired by it. All right. So uh, here we have a panel in the background just to make sure if the player have a huge monitor, it won't get too weird. Here is just a panel, and here is the video stream player. uh, I downloaded two videos. That is the login screen from Orn and login screen from Oriana and Kha'Zix's Dark Stars. Dark Star, really cool. And here I loaded the Dark Star one, and I tried to do download through HTTP request file of 92 megabytes, and I just couldn't. Yeah. So autoplay expand loop, the default volume is -15, and I also added a button in the bottom right corner that by clicking it, it switches between -80, that is mute, and -15. Here in the panel, I actually have basically the text of the game name, where the logo would be as well, the panel footer to show the copyright claims, and three panels. So this is the first one for login, the play, that where you would manage the updates, and the sign up one. All right, basically a copy of each other with more or less fields. All right. So before I show you, let's go to the script. Except gzip, I think I said that I tried to use compressed and decompressed files, but this didn't work. I don't know. I used gzip in here and gz encode on PHP, and it didn't work. I really don't know what happened, but I gave up as well. I removed the if inside of the request that would add another HTTP request node if this is occupied. Actually, I just now make a little bit better of the management. I just don't call it every single time. And here I changed a bit of the first if to check if it is JSON using curly brackets, if it is a JSON using square brackets, or if the response is not defined. All right. Here on launcher, you're gonna see a lot of ghosts for my battle, but don't worry. Well, I will explain as well. So here I changed the base URL. I removed the colon 88, that is the setting the port, a default port, because the HTTP client don't need it to be set in the base URL. and this requested update, whatever. I think I used in the last video as well. So here is the HTTPC that I no longer use, and there is some variables in here that I actually use. So a temporary file that I think I used for the HTTP client. After check and after download two callables that will be called after each respective event. Files to download and files downloaded, just to use a progress bar to show the remaining of file skill that I use to download the files in order, the updating version, that is the one that I use to save in the config file, and the current file to show above the progress bar. In the ready, I start the HTTPC connection to host and I pull once. I also I try to change the HTTP client read chunk size to 64 megabytes, but didn't work. Don't work. And here we have two redundant functions. The first one is the onCheck version, and the second one is onCheck download. Why is this? The first one is after the player login, a request will be sent to check if there is an available version, alright, and the button will pop up. The second one is just in case the player just don't click it. There is a time, there is a gap between the real update and there is this gap. And depending how long the player have the game opened, there is a chance that you update the game in a game when a player have the game opened, and actually when they update, will update to the older version. All right, so this is just to call it again and actually update the required version. The update version, I think this method didn't change that much from the last one, but here I download, I actually transform the base64 file to final version of the file. Then I start the buffer and I close the file. I also have this last parameter in here, as you can see, by default false. And if it is false, I call it again. So it's a recursive function that will always call as while there is file to download. And in the else, also it's the last file, I update the config file to the latest version that I'm using. I save it. I just to make sure if the counter is delayed, I just abruptly update, and then I reload the current scene. So open the player, update the game, it will just refresh the node, and actually they will need to reload again, but it's not my fault. And here next file was the function that I tried to use for the HTTP client. To be honest, this is way better written, all right? This is way more understandable, but this don't work properly. Actually, this work to download this actually this do the same thing of the HTTP request, to be honest. Even though I did a lot of configurations in here, that is beautiful to see. It basically do the same thing from the HTTP request, and use while. That's something that I do not like, all right? Just remember that in the end of the video, I will show every single, I will scroll past every single part of the project, all right? So you are able to check it slower. Lastly, the launcher itself. So I have the login success that will be called by the HTTP request. So I just clean the box, the line edges actually, and I prepare to call the update to check the update. Here, the on check and downloaded is that after check and after download callables that just disable the buttons or reload the scene. All right. Here on the update uh, pressed, start call the upgrade function. And as you can see, I was using the launcher next file, but no. On clicking the button panels is basically just switch and mute and unmute by setting the 80 or -50. On click on submit, I have this type of validation that you check if there is empty space, if there is at least 3 characters, if there is less than 60 characters. The password must be at least 8 characters long, and the password can must be the same thing of the confirm password. I have a scroller, actually a vertical V box that is inside of the scroller container that lists the possible errors the user committed. Then I show them adding a red label, and if there is no real error, then I try to make the request. All right. The on sign up success basically close the panel and open the login one. On login sign up error, just list out. This is for the request. All right. This is redundant for this part, but but it's because dedicated for the HTTP request. The same thing for the login, but actually I don't warn about every single thing. All right, just to make sure, just to prevent anything. For the errors as well, on the error, the logout that just switched to the login scene. The process to update the progress bar and the file name, and don't press play. I hard coded this, as you can see, so by default it will load the scene 1. All right, but as you can see here in my file system, there is no scene 1. I have the back where actually it would be like the backup, but actually I'm just saving the video. I have the HTTPI, the icon, the node, the launcher. So now let's test this. So here is what I got, inspired by a little bit by the Red Game launcher. So let's test. Let me sign up random. So if I try to sign up right here, a lot of errors will appear. Except I will just make the BBB password BBBB BBBB the confirm BBBBBBB and sign up. All right. So now login BBBB and the password BBBBBBB as well. So login, welcome BBBBB. If I log out, I just go back to the other panel. All right. And here I have the button update. Actually, there is 3 buttons: the logout, the update, and the play. If the request check a different version, the update button will be shown. And if not, the play button will be shown. So if I hit update, the progress bar will load, the file names will appear, and then the scene will be reloaded. So pay attention to it. Ta-da, happened. So now B B B B again, B B B B B B B B. Now I have the play, and if I hit play, only empty scenes will appear. But here is the scene. So if I hit, I go to the second. If I hit here, I go to the first. And by ending here, the file system will update. And as you can see, I have the banner outside of the back. I have the yay. I have the game folder with each one if is seen, as you can see. And each one with it is a script as well, just loading the other one. All right, so that's it. As I said, this was the least accomplishing project I ever did to show someone. I am pretty frustrated. Like in the end, it's not that ugly, but it's because I got inspired by other things. I benchmarked the other clients, actual launchers. I'm sorry. So I will try to make a better project next time. All right. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.